Yeah, we were fortunate. Like we didn't close. A lot of hotels did. We were fortunate that we had some business that still needed to stay. Airlines were flying, FedEx, UPS, those crews were flying. We housed them. Eventually, nurses and doctors came back to work or worked more down at the hospital. So we were fortunate to be able to stay open. You know, I sit here and say we have 250 some employees right now. That's about what we had before the pandemic. But when the pandemic hit, which is what, five years ago
now,
right about there, we were down to 15 of us.
Oh wow. My God, what?
Yeah. So at that point, throw out your title. You're doing whatever is necessary.
Right, exactly.
And you guys really did. I mean, I remember, you know, I was getting back to, you know, remembering pivotal points in history. You guys would do take home dinners that the chef would walk you through on Zoom how to prepare. So you'd pick up your bag of all the ingredients and a bottle of wine, and you'd make this via Zoom with everybody else that had picked up the same bag. And
we had to get creative, and that was one of the things that we did, and that took off. I mean, still this day, folks asking, can you guys do that?
No way.
And you know, we could do it. I mean, we would do it in the restaurant. Chef would stand behind or in front of the pizza oven. Our GM and me at the time would be there truly with an iPhone, not as beautiful as this setup, with an iPhone recording him while chef's back there cooking and everybody's at home on Zoom watching in, cooking with all the ingredients we gave them, bottles of wine, drinking.
That is such a cool idea.
We found it brought so many people together.
Exactly.
Right. Whether they had groups that were just random people that just joined on for the night, about 15, 20 random couples, and some of them became friends after that and came back to eat in the restaurant when we reopened again, and some were families. My family did it. I have a brother that lives in North Carolina. I have one that lives in Philadelphia, and then my wife's family is around here. The rest of my family is around here. But we shipped my brothers the stuff that they needed. And the food, we said, here's the ingredients. You need to go buy it. But we all got on Zoom and probably about 2.5 hours, cooked together, drank together, just kind of caught up. Couldn't see them during that time, both because of where they were, but also, you know.
That is really cool because it's anyone can watch. You don't have to live in Harrisburg in order to be a part of it.
Yeah, it really brought people together, and it was a lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it showed too, and it was something to break up the monotony of COVID for everybody. Right. And you know, we had a group of friends that all did it, so it's fun seeing their faces on, and it's just the Hilton has just been, for me at least in my life and a lot of other people, a social hub,
a little community.
Yeah, a little community. Huh. Now, Kellen, I'm going to throw you on the spot here, but you're from out of town, and you're doing a lot of photography and social content for the Hilton. Yeah. What have your impressions been of everything there?
The Hilton is so beautiful. I mean, first of all, it is just so beautiful, and it really is, like you said earlier, it's such a spot for downtown. It is just it's just huge. You know, we've just gotten to make all this content about all this amazing food and all these great drinks, and we've also gotten to eat some of the food and drink some of the drinks.
The work you guys do for us and everything
it's so
shoot
fun.
is phenomenal. I'm just gonna put
All
that
right,
out
Steve,
there.
we'll pay you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, seriously, like we, fought to have somebody local do our social media for us because we thought it was important to have somebody who knows the area and knows what content they want to see, but also just knows us.
Right.
I don't want to say anybody can come and take a photo or take a video because I would be terrible at it. But a lot of people can come and take a photo and take a video, and
Sure.
that's that. But there's no, I won't say love in it, but there's no love in it. There's no
Right.
heart in it.
Right.
And what you guys do for us, it's amazing.
Well, and you and Beth have been such a big part of that too. It's like I haven't seen you around recently, but Tom and I work with Beth,
Beth is
and
great.
she's such a good representation of who works there, of that little community. I mean, she just is so fun to work with, and it really just kind of, the content that we make represents that, right? Shows that.
She loves what she does.
Oh, she does.
And a
It's
lot of
so
our team-
obvious.
a lot of
I
our
find that
team
with
does.
so many of your team members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the people in the hotel love what they do. And I mean, we have people, I've been there for, how'd you lose count? 19 years,
Wow.
I think. But you could look at every department of the hotel, and there's somebody in that department that's been there at least 10 to 12 years. I mean,
Wow.
a housekeeper.
That's not normal.
No,
Yeah.
a housekeeper,
Yeah.
a valet, a server in the restaurant.
I mean, it speaks volumes about how they're treated there.
It speaks volumes
yeah.
about the leadership there, and we've always had great leadership.
Yeah.
And Hilton Corporate is a top-rated company for employment. We are not owned and operated by Hilton Corporate. We're just a franchise of it, but the values that they have are instilled in the different hotels that they have. I mean, all over the world, but especially in our management company, they really take on Hilton's meaning, I guess, if
Right.
you will. And that's been, like I said, I've been there for 19 years. I left for a
amazing.
year and realized the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I was like, hey guys, I need to come back. And they welcomed me back, but they really have always put a lot into the culture.
Yeah.
And it shows too when you're coming in as a guest that there are people happy to see you and happy to wait on you in the restaurant, happy to serve you a drink. It's not,
Yeah.
you go to some places and you just feel like you're bothering everybody.
Well, yeah, but you're right, because it's like going to a new restaurant, right?
Sure.
You don't know anybody there. They obviously don't know you. I don't say it's awkward, like you know what you're going there for, but it's a completely different vibe
Right.
when you walk in and it's, Nate, good to see you again. How are you? How's the wife? How's the kid? Like, there's that relationship that's been built, but you don't get that everywhere because turnover, right?
Sure.
It's not, it's not a common thing to see, this many employees, many team members that have been here for as long as they
Yeah.
have, right? They've seen the ups and downs, but they've built relationships with so many people over the years.
And I think that's why people stay anywhere, right? Is the relationships that you make. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, we stay in plenty of hotels, like traveling the road and stuff, and we go to a lot of places where you're like, where should we go get food? And they're clearly on their phone Googling, like,
Right.
where.
They
It's
don't
like,
care.
we've done that, but like we thought maybe you're from around here and you would know where to go.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
All right, I got this. Never mind.
Well, we're going to take a slight break from what we're talking about. We got glasses and bottles sitting here. I figured we should address what's going on here. One of the things I love about the Hilton is probably the best whiskey selection anywhere in Harrisburg, in the Harrisburg area, for that matter. Wine as well, I would say.
I'm biased, but I would agree.
And one of the cool things about your whiskey program and your drinks program is that you guys go and select barrels specifically for the Hilton that get bottled, and then those bottles are only available at the Hilton.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate enough, you've been very kind to invite me on a lot of these trips now, and I think I'm up to 6 different picks now. So like,
We've really put in some work in the
feel
last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been, and everyone's been its own cool.
It's work,
Cool story.
all right? It's not just-
It's what I tell
not
my
just
wife. I
fun.
tell everybody. It's
Exactly.
You gotta love what you do.
serious
That's what he
business.
tells us when he puts it on the calendar. I'm going to be in Kentucky for 4 days.
See?
It's
See?
work. But yeah, I mean, we were known for the longest time for our wine
Yeah.
selection.
And,
I mean,
and in my mind, you still are.
we are.
Yeah.
But, as the whiskey industry grew, obviously we wanted to pivot, and we didn't pivot it away from wine. We still have a huge wine menu, but we have a great whiskey list, probably over well over 100 different whiskeys. And then we only really started this barrel program maybe three years ago.
Yeah.
And we usually get a barrel or two every year, usually from the big names, Knob Creek, Elijah Craig, Maker's Mark. But these two here, Pennsylvania made. We thought this year, like, we really want to support small business, technically, and then Pennsylvania made. And so we're Iron City here from just out Pittsburgh, just outside Pittsburgh. And then Liberty Pole Spears. This is the one, well, you put us on the both of them, but this is where it started, right?
Yeah.
It's with Liberty Pole.
Does anybody want to pour while we're chatting here?
Of course.
So,
Kellen, that's all you.
I want the little cute one.
okay, this is a rye whiskey. Pick your glassware here. We have a little hodgepodge of what's in the office.
Oh, I don't care.
Get the
I'll do the one closest to me.
okay. Here, why don't you pour yourself so I'm not in
Myself.
trouble for pouring too much for
Overpouring.
anybody. And then we have a Liberty Pole here. This is not necessarily the pick because I believe those are being delivered today.
Like, I think at this
At this moment. So this is another Liberty Pole single barrel. Both rye whiskeys here. And we'll get into the history of rye whiskey, I don't know, a little bit today or another time. Sean, what can I get you?
I'll do the Iron City.
There you go.
Good choice. Good choice.
And so, these bottles we picked for Liberty Pole are being dropped off right now, but so is the barrel.
Oh,
You know, we have plans for the barrel. Work with a local brewery, fill that up with a beer just for the hotel, and have kind of our own beer on tap and available by bottle.
That
as
is
well.
so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
again, just going back to the community aspect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's just bringing in all of these local
yeah.
breweries.
But that's where we were kind of rooted. I mean, that's where we were rooted.
Yeah.
The hotel was built for many reasons, but one of which was to be a pillar in the community, and in whatever way that is, supporting small business, supporting local charities, obviously employment, and so that's like still true to our heart. And
Yeah.
so in whatever fashion we can do it. We
Can I help you here? You want?
Absolutely.
I'm going to start with this.
There you
How
go.
about that?
Yeah, like
Start-
even though
I
you
like
got
how you say start with
even though you got the corporate name of Hilton, it's still like a
Right. It doesn't
Harrisburg-based
feel
business.
right.
It's kind of what like it feels like when you walk in there.
Well, cheers here, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
You guys, cheers. You're not shy on that pour. I like it. I like it.
It's hard to judge with this glass.
It was hard. It's the bottle. It's the cute little
That's
bottle.
what it is.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So here's one of the things that I love, and Kellen's touching on it. I'm traveling. I'm coming into Harrisburg. I may not know anything about Harrisburg. I can sit down at the bar and boom, right away. I'm talking to friendly staff from the area, and then you also have beers on tap from the local area from just down the street. I mean, 0 Days right there. Haymauer is going to be working with you on this barrel aged beer. Plenty of other ones in the area. We have now local whiskey. So you get a little taste right here before you go out. And, we travel, like Sean's saying, we travel a lot of places, and that's not the norm everywhere. Some places
No.
are embracing that, but it's not. That's a rarity
Yeah.
still. Yeah.
A lot of times you feel like the staff there, like it's just kind of like, I mean, everyone has a job, but like they're just like there to fill whatever they're looking for to
Right.
do next. So the fact
Right.
that you guys have employees who have been there for years and years and years is very impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you don't want to have this transactional feeling, right? You've given me this, I've given you that. Have a great day. Like,
Right.
we want to
Yeah.
build a relationship. We want to build a rapport. We want to. Yes, you're a customer, but you're also a friend. Like, we want to. How's life outside of here? How's
Yeah.
life outside of why you're in here tonight?
Yeah. I mean, when Tom and I go over to get content, I mean, we talk to Beth for a good 15, 20 minutes before we even, because we're just talking. We're just talking about our lives and just catching up.
We have our whole team coming in tonight for a dinner, little team dinner.
I'm so excited.
I'm
Are you?
so excited.
I've been looking forward to this meal
Yeah.
all week. I had a
Yeah.
very, very light lunch today.
Yep.
I'm coming hungry.
Yep.
Well, and
Yeah.
they just put out new menu items.
Oh
Ooh,
my
all right.
goodness. We
Okay,
saw
so
it
what do we
last
got
time.
going on
we were
Right,
tonight?
you probably saw it. I mean, the veal chops are
Okay.
chops. The bone marrow's still on the menu. Don't
All
worry.
right.
Don't worry.
That's a
that your
highlight for me.
favorite?
Well,
We got that
we'll
last
see what
year.
we
It
get
was
into
awesome.
tonight.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Yeah, I won't ruin any of the surprises.
I'll teach you
No.
about a
No? Okay.
bone marrow luge.
Don't snack between now and dinner.
Have
No,
have they not
I'm
done the
done for
bone
the
marrow
day. I'm
luge?
done eating.
No, I don't. I don't know. We'll have to break that out tonight. Have I done a bone marrow luge with you guys with a shot of sherry?
I know you and I have done bone marrow places, but I don't know if we did it at 1700 last year.
Tom's
disclosure-
Tom's off camera here. He's shaking his head. Yes, he's familiar.
Full
with it.
disclosure, that's not a menu item.
That's like
It's just special for Nate,
It's
right?
kind of a create your own
Secret menu,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah. but one worth doing.
It's a Kresge specialty.
That's right.
Ask them for
That's
the
what it is.
Kresge bone marrow luge. They'll know exactly what it is. This is your first time having dinner
Yeah.
at the steakhouse?
Yeah. I cannot be more excited. I'm so excited.
I hope you didn't have lunch too. I hope, yeah.
No, I'm going to be ready to go.
Along with 1700, because we're talking about that right now, can you tell us a little bit about the other restaurant there and some of the offerings? And I know brunch is a huge thing there.
Yeah, so the other restaurants, Adlib Craft Kitchen and Bar, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's kind of the main restaurant. They're open 7 days a week. Like I said, they serve breakfast, lunch, and
Which
dinner.
a lot of people forget. There's breakfast every single day downtown Harrisburg, and it's killer, you know?
Yeah, when we have a la carte, great menu items. The stuffed French toast is it's delicious. But we have a buffet too. Omelet station, you know, so
I
whatever.
didn't realize that.
Yes.
I've been there for brunch, but I did not realize there was a buffet.
Every day of the week.
awesome.
Every day of the week.
Going, yep.
It's great. I mean, it's a full buffet. It's $19. Like it's all you can eat. It's a great price, great
yeah.
food.
Noted.
Yeah, right. Come on down. And then brunch. We do brunch on the weekends and live music. A great brunch menu from about 10 to 1 every Saturday and Sunday.
I got to go over there for brunch. Are you guys still doing the Bloody Marys?
Not right now,
Okay.
but keep asking about it.
Okay, I will.
It might come back.
Okay,
It
good.
might come back.
Good. Okay, I'll just
Oh
bother you
yeah,
guys
because you were
enough.
telling me you like Bloody Marys that has like the
Yeah, you
meal
gotta
on
have
top
little
of the
snacks.
glass.
Yeah, you gotta. have
When we
snacks
did
with
it was create your own. I mean, so
I've seen pictures. and
They'd
it
bring
looks
you
insane.
they'd bring you the beverage, but you go up to the bar and you fill it with as many shrimp as you'd like, a big celery stick,
That's how you do it right there.
a lobster tail through it if
Yeah.
you want to go real crazy.
And you do.
Then you do. Yeah, why not?
Treat yourself.
Yeah, but it's great. But you're right. Like it's often forgot about.
Yeah.
And I think because it's in a hotel, I think sometimes it's intimidating to walk into a hotel for a meal,
Well-
especially when you're local, depending on like outside of dinner maybe.
Here's
you
the
know?
other thing, though, I
Yeah.
love about the Hilton, especially when I lived in Midtown here, Harrisburg. I like to get away from all the regular crowd that you see all the time. And going into the bar at Adlib was great because there's always a new host of people staying at the hotel. There's always, different specials, that sort of thing. It never got stale. And I felt like a lot of other places that I would frequent felt stale, and that I never got that feeling.
You're right. I mean, different
the hotel.
conferences in every weekend, every week, different guests in. You see different
Yeah.
faces all the time.
Yeah.
It is kind of a escape, I guess, maybe.
When you
Right.
guys get a lot of like the people who perform in like Hershey Stadium, because you see tour buses in front of your building all the time.
That's a great segue. I want to hear some stories. Steve's got some stories about people staying in the hotel. I don't know what
I can't
names you're
even
allowed
Yeah,
to
I mean,
drop, but-
names. We get a lot of the crews, that's for sure. And it's funny because they choose us obviously for our venue. We have a great product, we have great service, but location. Everybody
Right.
assumes they're going to be out in Hershey. And so that's where they're camped out. That's where they're waiting. And so they come in and stay with us. But it's not a hidden secret when you come down the street and there's 13 tour buses lined up on 2nd Street. The only place that they can be is right here. And it's just a matter of who is. But we do get a decent amount. And it's a great experience. And I mean, I won't drop.
You don't want to talk about getting stuck in the elevator or anything?
No, I don't want to get
Okay.
stuck. I don't want to get stuck. Get stuck in the elevator.
We'll leave
That was
that story for
terrifying.
another time.
But we've had some high end performers up there and had to black out the rooms.
you're telling that story.
Yeah, we had
Oh,
to
yeah.
black. I mean, everything in the room had to be black out. The window, and I'm not talking close the curtains.
Oh,
Black tape over the. I mean, no sunlight could come through. The windows, the mirrors,
Were they a
completely
vampire?
covered.
you can't disrupt the creative process. You artists.
It's right.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
You're right. But we do get a lot. And it's a fun experience. And 99% of them are great. Like they will sit and talk to you, shake your hand. How's your day? Which you don't expect per
Right.
se, right? You're like, oh, this is, one of the
Big name.
big names in the country music scene. And they just stop to say hi to me. Like,
Yeah.
no,
That's really cool.
it is.
That's really cool.
Well, how'd you get to your position as sales director?
So I started there when I was 20, I think, as a valet. No college experience. Just went to high school, graduated high school, didn't go off to college, just looked for jobs. I'm going to work valet at the hotel. How hard can it be to park cars, right?
In Harrisburg, I can see that being difficult.
So I did it for about 5 or 6 months, and let's just say I wasn't great at it. So they came to me and they were like, "So you're maybe not cut out for this."
What other talents do you have?
Right, basically, right? But it goes back to the culture, right? They didn't give up on me. They're like, maybe this line of work's not for you. How about you go stand behind the front desk and just be nice to people and check people in? I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
All right.
So I did that for about another 6 months. I was there for about a year before I left. I actually went down and worked at a combination hotel in just outside of Philadelphia in the Manayunk area, just doing the same stuff, working at the front desk. But like what I said earlier, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I was only there for about 6 months, and it was almost I don't want to say a culture shock. It just the short time that I was here, there was so much time invested in me and my success. And again, it was only a year, and it sounds silly because they just asked me to move from the valet to the front desk, but they also could have said, you know what,
this isn't working.
Yeah. See you later, and they didn't. So I was working down there for about 6 months, and I was a big Allen Iverson fan, so I loved working there because they used to practice behind the hotel at the one facility back there. So, and I was a big fan. So after practice, he and his buddies would roll through. They'd go play spades in the bar. He signed a pair of high threes. Oh yeah, it was great. Loved it. I was like, this is awesome. Until one day, I literally worked 24 hours because nobody was coming in for their shifts, and the management at the time, they lived in the hotel, and I was like, wait a second, you guys, I could use some help down here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to Harrisburg. So I made 2 phone calls that night at like 2:00 in the morning. One to my mom and one to the current general manager at the hotel. Obviously left both of them voicemails. Mom, I need to come home. The GM, I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm the one who couldn't cut it in valet. If you have anything for me, I'd love to come back. The first person to call me back the next day was the GM. I didn't hear from my mom for like 3 days. But he said, I don't know what we have
Your
for
mom's
you.
great, by the way, too. So
love you, Mom. She is.
I've been in Kentucky with your mom too, and you.
Well, so all to find out, like I wasn't gone for that long. My room was completely redone, taken over. It was her office, so there wasn't a place for me, right?
You were out.
So I was out. But yeah, the GM called back and said, I don't know what we have, but we'll find something for you. Like, come on back, we'll find something for you. And they made a supervisor position for me at the front desk. I just kind of worked from there. I did operations for about a decade then in the front office, housekeeping, not much restaurant. And then about 4 years ago, moved up to the sales department. Yeah, and then just started this position as the director of sales probably about 6 months ago.
Man, congratulations.
Oh, wow, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Is the GM that brought you back, are they still there?
No. Left for greener pastures. He's got a great job.
Actual greener pastures.
Actual greener pastures. Yeah. No, I mean it was he has a great job right now. It's a dream job he didn't expect, but he
good for him.
came along and had no, but he built people up underneath him, and so our current GM is set. It's just as good. The culture is still there.
And I love too that who we're talking about, the past GM will still roll in there on a frequent basis and greet people and talk to people. Former chef that we all know that used to be at the Hilton rolls back in.
I'm sitting there in my office last week and plugging away, and you can just feel like a presence, right? And I look up and it's him, right? He's just standing with a case of whiskey that they had gave him to bring back for us from the barrel that we picked. I was like, oh hey, he's like, yeah, just walking through town, wanted to check in, see how you're doing. Great.
Yeah.
But that kind of guy really created a good culture and gave me the opportunity that I have today. And a lot of where I'm at now is in this career path is due to him and the management company and the team that was at that property.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything on the horizon here for the Hilton?
We're renovating at the end of the year. We'll start a new renovation. It feels like it wasn't that long ago that we did the last one, but it was about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So it won't be a full renovation. The restaurants will stay the same, but we will redo the guest rooms. All the king rooms are going to get hardwood floors. They're going to get walk-in showers now, right? I mean, what you see at a lot of properties now, and a lot of what our business travelers want to see is, doing away with the shower tub combinations. It's gonna be a walk-in shower, nice hardwood floors, ditch the carpet.
I don't like carpet in hotels.
It's a cleaner feel when you walk in.
Right.
And there's just nice hardwood floors, and you know exactly what you're walking on.
Yes.
Exactly.
Keep my socks on.
Yes, right.
Always keep the socks on.
We'll have to do a whole episode on like I'm a little bit of a germaphobe and what it's like being in a hotel room sometimes.
So like you met your wife at the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I met my wife at the hotel.
Yeah.
We worked together, and she was managing the housekeeping department at the time that I was managing the front office department. But anytime we travel together, it's in her DNA, I guess, if you will. She pulls the sheets back. She looks under the mattresses. Yeah, everything
she's looking for.
Honestly, good for her.
Everything that she used to make sure her team was doing and looking for.
She knows the steps.
She knows the steps. She knows what to look for. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Whatever. I'm not the germaphobe. She's like, oh, no.
I need to look at that. I usually just
about
close
to
the curtain and
say.
turn down the thermostat. That's
me.
Those are my first two moves.
That's me.
Yep.
Everybody's got their own little routine. I like it. Yeah.
Drop the bag and off to the bar.
Yeah.
But we'll start that in late fall, probably November, December. And so we'll do all the guest rooms first. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're done with that by early February. And then we won't do anything again until probably the end of 2026, and we'll do all the public space again.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying. When we renovated 10 years ago, it was the whole hotel. And so we couldn't be as strategic with it. So we're trying to renovate during peak season. And it was very challenging to do. You're taking out half of a guest room floor at a time, but the other half is occupied because you're sold out, but this side's being worked on. So we're going to try to, in our slower periods, November, December, January, knock out the guest rooms and then get through our busy time of the year again in 2026, and then go into the public space and change the meeting rooms. So it'll have a new look.
GK Visual is celebrating 20 years this year, and we're going to be celebrating at the Hilton. And this is just an example of how you guys work with people. We've come up with a really cool plan for our 20th anniversary, where it's going to be almost a speakeasy type setting on one of the floors in the Hilton. Won't give away too many details in this, but I just love how you guys work with local businesses in the area to cater to people's needs and the events. It's not just a one size fits all kind of a approach.
I think you have to be creative,
Yeah.
right? I mean, same for you guys are creative, but you have to be creative in everything you do. You don't want to get stale, right? And all of a sudden folks are like, I don't need to go there. It's the same old.
Exactly.
You have to be flexible, right? I mean, so obviously we have our standard packages, and this is what we do, and this is what a wedding can look like, but it doesn't have to look like this. Yeah, we can do a not so old-fashioned bar at your wedding. We can do a smoked old-fashioned bar at your wedding. We can do a reception on this 15th floor lounge that overlooks the river. Like, we can be flexible and be creative, and that's what you kind of have to be.
I mean, it has to probably be hard to book weddings if you're just you have to fit in one of these packages. Like, I don't know, you do weddings like brides and brides moms could be just insane on what they are requesting and what they want.
Yeah, people are very specific. It's the most special day of your life.
Do you have any funny stories of really out there requests for a wedding?
So I don't have one of an out there request, and I don't know if the bride, however many years ago, would find this to be funny, but her mother-in-law hung her bridal dress off the sprinkler in the room, and it broke, and water everywhere flooded the hotel room, obviously ruined the gown the night before the wedding. Yeah, this was before my time. Okay, but I've heard the story. Yeah.
That's tough.
You can imagine.
Probably one of the worst things that could happen.
Yeah. I don't know how that mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship is going to this day, but
there's a little
if
tip
you are
for
listening, we want to know.
And also what not to do with your wedding dress at any point in time.
Anything from a sprinkler for
there
that matter.
There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, to your point, it's hard for, it's hard for hotels to do weddings anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all these beautiful venues that are around. I mean, here we have King's Mansion.
Competition
we have
is huge.
Competition is great, but competition is huge.
Yeah.
So, our ballroom is beautiful.
Yeah,
Chandeliers are amazing. The things that we can do with linen and the food services and flower arrangements. I mean, but we do compete with these beautiful outside venues. So we have to be creative in what we're offering and what we're doing and how we can dress up the ballroom in order to be competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've kind of run our time here. I feel like we need to do this again with more whiskey and more stories of things that have happened at the Hilton or,
Round 2. I'll come prepared with the stories.
Yes.
The after hours edition.
What you're allowed to talk about.
The names will be redacted still, but
that's the way to do it. Well, thanks so much for doing this with us. I always appreciate hanging out with you, and thanks for taking the time to talk with us. And
you guys are awesome. Appreciate you having
thanks,
me.
man.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's a great end of the work week.
We still haven't.
Cheers to that, right?
I was going to say, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
We still haven't come up with a good catchphrase for this show at the end, but
we
so
do
we'll
need
just
a catchphrase.
We'll just end with a cheers. So
right.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you another time.
Cheers.